Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Surviving UX podcast. It's back to school time. On top of all the work that you have to do, 100% of everyone's house is just a little bit sick. Oh, you don't have kids? Well, just wait a couple weeks. It'll come for you too. I am Meg Kramer. My co-host is Jessamine Edwards. We are here to answer your questions about UX careers. Jessamine, hello.
Hello, how are you, Meg?
I'm doing okay. I got a new haircut and
Yes.
I'm trying to embrace the fall, which seems to not be quite here because it is still hot and
Yeah,
not fall weather. So,
right. I know. Usually fall kind of turns a hard corner for us. It'll be hot, 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 and then boom, it's cold. But we're still in hot zone. Speaking of a little bit sick, we are not sick, but a few people I chatted with today at work have COVID.
oh yeah.
And check this out. COVID is your key to avoiding having to go back in the office.
Oh, it sure is, isn't it?
So, you know what? If you don't want to go into the office, you can just say someone in your family has COVID and you're getting like basically 2 weeks at home. So you heard it here first.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, because what are they going to do? Are they going to question you? Are
No.
they going to make you send in a doctor's note, you know? So, yeah, but I did offer my coworkers counterfeit doctor's notes if they so desire them because one of the best skills of being a designer is being able to create counterfeit things. Have you ever made anything counterfeit?
I sure have. I'm trying to think of a good example. Like I, well, um, I had to submit some claims, like
Yes.
insurance claims,
Yes.
and I knew the information that they needed on it, and instead of me asking for it again, I just kind of quickly made a slight change and submitted it. And I do not feel
Nice.
bad about this because
No.
it was just like missing like one piece of information that I knew they would need, and like I just was like, it's not worth like trying to go get this redone.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. Yep. FSA claims. That's
mm,
I think the one of the first times I realized I could do this and solve my own problems very
yeah.
easily with Photoshop. Um,
Well,
yeah,
let's not
there's
be too incriminating. These are just ideas, guys. These are
this is
just
just
ideas that
hypothetical.
Jessamine and I have had.
Yes, but gosh, I hope nobody is getting sick right now. I feel like that's like the last thing we need, but this has been the wild time at work. We've had a lot of changes, a lot of big swings, and we're trying to muscle through it. And I'm getting a lot of interesting um I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from my coworkers, which has made me feel good. But also,
Mhm.
I've had some real scary moments.
Mm,
And basically, the return to office mandate and those types of policies are cracking down very hard.
mhm.
And I have been told I need to move. And
Mm,
so I am dealing with that. I am looking at moving. I am looking at real estate. I am asking myself what I can sell to
mm,
be able to afford um, a place to live in the West Coast. And I literally yesterday was walking through the driveway to the street to take a walk, and I looked at my minivan and I thought I could sell the minivan and get some money for a down payment. That's one place I could cash out.
uh-huh.
And then my husband is like, what will we drive? And I'm like, well, we can all fit into the Camry, right? So that's where I am right now. Like
Mhm.
thinking about how I can liquidate my life basically
Mhm.
to afford moving somewhere that is very, very expensive
What
compared
are
to where we live now.
you, yeah, what are you doing to like deal with some of these pieces of stress? Because it's not just
Well,
you. I'm sure people are being in similar situations.
I think, yeah, the what has been interesting is that the pressure and the stress of this decision is not just happening to me, but
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
happening to my spouse, it's happening to my parents. I have talked with my kids a little bit about it,
Hmm.
but I haven't dropped a bomb on them yet. I'm hoping to shield them until we actually make a decision
Hmm.
and, have a plan. But, it really is heartbreaking. I have shared it with a couple of friends. Um, but the idea of, having to abandon basically the home that we just bought and, did renovations on and have bought furniture for and everything, the idea of having to trade that away just to stay employed is really difficult.
Right.
So, and, um, this is not exactly the nicest market to be in right now for jobs. It's a
Hmm.
pretty tough market. So,
Yes. See some of our other podcasts for
yeah,
more info on that.
it definitely feels like that is factoring in
Hmm.
when the timing of this decision, because they know that they kind of have people over a barrel. So it's a tough time. This is a tough situation. I'm trying to stay open-minded, trying to stay positive. I'm trying to do a lot of visioning and imagining,
Hmm.
letting myself imagine different things.
Uh-huh.
And yeah.
Not that
So,
you have any time, but have you ever done a vision board?
ooh, I haven't done a vision board for a long time, but I maybe that's a good project for the weekend. I
Yeah.
like that idea.
Get a bunch of
Yeah.
magazines and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, have your kids do it too.
Very cool.
You never know what might come up.
Uh-huh. I love that.
Ah,
What about
well,
you? What's your
um,
vision board look like?
what's my vision board look like? Well, I did one once and it had a lot of like fresh fruits and vegetables on it.
Okay.
And yeah, and I guess I'm real, I'm kind of living my vision. But sometimes I come across it when I'm like going rummaging through a drawer or whatever, and I'm like, it
Mm-hmm.
always reminds me like you really need to eat more fruits and vegetables, fresh fruits and
Aw.
vegetables. You're not living your dreams.
Aw.
Um, yeah. So, but we do have some topics for today. Topically, it's been a 4-day work week in the US. We had Labor Day on Monday, which is typically a holiday. I think it's been a holiday my whole life. I'm not quite sure when we started celebrating Labor Day. But it got me thinking a lot about this concept of a 4-day work week, which obviously a week where you don't work on Monday, that's a holiday for pretty much everyone in the country that you live in, is not really the 4-day work week we're talking about. We're talking about taking the number of hours of like the standard 40 hours a week as being full-time employment, for 40 hours 5 days a week as being full-time employment, and saying, okay, really it's going to be 32 hours over 4 days. Or some people also do like a 10-4, which is 10 hours over 4 days, leaving you that extra day in the weekend to do the things that you might need to do and have kind of a longer rest period. So,
Mm-hmm.
Jessamine, like, what do you think? Do you think this is a good idea for our career? Like, would it be good to have 4-day work weeks for UX uh, individuals within larger companies that are also doing a 4-day work week? What do you think?
I think the only way that we'll know is if we try, right? So, I
Yeah.
mean, why not try? I do think sometimes about, like, I have a lot of vacation days that
Hmm.
I've accrued, and I'm sort of saving them up for some vacation that I have not planned yet.
Mm.
And I think sometimes, should I just give myself 4-day weeks with my vacations and just do Fridays off
Yeah.
consistently, like twice a month or something, as a way to use those days,
Hmm.
without necessarily having a reason, just,
Hmm.
extra time. I mean, God, certainly I so many times I've gotten up from the desk at the end of the day and I like look like the laundry room's overflowing. I go
Hmm.
downstairs and like the kitchen sink is overflowing and
Hmm.
the house is like a wreck, and I'm just like, "Oh God, I I haven't helped, because I've been working, and so it's all on my spouse, and I think I need to pitch in, but I have no energy. I'm like dead. And I'm like, 1950s husband, like, what's for dinner, honey?" And I just think if I had more time, like, I guess I could help out around the house more and give him
That's
a break.
something, yeah, that's something that people talk about when they talk about this, is that like that extra day would be great to go do the things that like you don't typically do on weekends. And for some people that's doing things while their kids aren't around because their kids are in school, or some
Mm-hmm.
people that's doing things that like only are open Monday through Friday, you know, like going to a doctor's appointment or getting an errand done that has to be done, you know, during the day.
Mm-hmm.
And so then that makes me think that the one of the real values of this is that your company is doing something different than kind of other industries or other companies are doing, because or like the school district is doing, right? Because it wouldn't have the same impact, I don't think, if you started working a 4-day week and also your kids are only going to school for 4 days a week. I think then we would just have maybe 3 days. I mean, this is my hypothesis, is that we would just have 3-day weekends, but the 3-day weekends would not have the value of just having an extra work day week free.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you really think about your weekend, right? Like if you did an emotional journey map of your weekend,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and like Friday, it's like you're sort of slumping through and everyone's just tired. And then Friday night, it's like euphoria hits, but
mm-hmm,
you're still sort of too tired to go crazy. And then I feel like on Saturday, you're just like, you wake up and you're like, oh my God, this is it. It's the weekend. And I'm like, I got to do something. I've got to do anything to have fun because this is it. This is my time. This is all I get. And
mm-hmm,
then, like, on Sunday, you get that dread feeling of like, tomorrow's coming. Don't get too
mm-hmm.
crazy. Don't drive anywhere too far away, or don't stay out too late, or don't stay up too late, because you know that you gotta like wind down. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you had that third day, you basically get your 2 Saturdays. So you get 2 days to go be free and do things. And God, I mean, it would be life changing, really, you
And that's
know?
what a lot of people have like talked about who've been in companies that have done it, like that they wouldn't really trade anything in the world to go back to 5 days a week. um
Mm.
and and so like I, like you were saying, like we don't really, maybe we don't know until we try it. And one of the places that was supposed to try it this year, or there was at least a bill proposed in the state of Maryland, to incentivize businesses to pilot 4-day work weeks. It ended up not happening. Like the bill was withdrawn, but like there's still, you know, interest, I think, for
Gosh.
pushing that forward. And like because of where you live in Virginia, I was just curious to ask, like, would that be like an incentive to you to, like, I don't know, change where you live or commute, you know, to a
Mm.
different state that had a 4-week work week? Like is this idea appealing enough that it would draw
Oh,
your talent to you know, to a company like that offers
talk
it?
about, oh, yeah, because I'll be honest with you, when I look at other companies, some of them I'm like, what is this company? I don't
Mm-hmm,
know it. I'm not familiar with it. Sometimes the company name is really strange.
mm-hmm,
And I'm like, do I want that on my resume? You know, Designer at, Flibbly Flap
mm-hmm,
Enterprise. And I'm like, ugh, like it's just sort of a off-putting.
mm-hmm,
But if they were like, hey, 4-day work week, remote only, I'd be
mm-hmm.
like, oh my gosh, hello. I don't care what you're called, come here. So it would just be, it would be such a huge like draw for
Uh-huh.
applying for jobs, or for choosing an employer to have that extra time. Because I feel like for me, time is like so precious, so valuable, free time
Mm-hmm.
where you get to be away, from the computer and just doing. I mean, I haven't even watched like a TV show, I think in like 2 weeks. I just haven't even had the time.
Mm-hmm.
The leisure time is just not
Yeah.
there.
And I
So,
think I
yeah.
think that we're moving into I think at least we're moving into a phase where the idea that rest has to be earned isn't necessarily where we really should be. Like a human body needs rest. And if it's not going to get rest, it's going to get it eventually, as in you're going to get COVID and then you're going to be out for 2 weeks. So like some companies, or some arguments in favor of this are like, well, this is kind of preemptively giving people like the health and well-being that allows us to not have absences, reactive absences to health issues and things like that. The other thing that I thought was interesting about this is like, so one thing that people have mentioned on this topic is you have 5 days in the week, or right now, like if you work 40 hours ish and you work 5 days a week, you have 5 days in the week to like fill up with work stuff to do. And if you have 4 days in a week, you just kind of reduce your inefficiencies, and you get the same amount of stuff done in a shorter amount of time. I was thinking about this concept of like, is that possible? Because with the kind of with I guess software development in general, and UX maybe in our relationship to software development, because sometimes I feel like that can't be true. Like, and it kind of takes me back to the Mythical Man Month. You've heard of that?
Yes,
Where it's like
I have heard of that.
well, I don't. The
Somebody gave me
example,
the book and I never
yeah.
read it. I put it on my shelf and then I don't even know if I returned it.
The
So that's
example the example that I think of, which is not about a man, is that you can't take 9 women and give them each a month and have a baby be produced. You have to have one woman over 9 months produce a baby. And like sometimes I think about our work in that context because of at least the fact that we're delivering at these checkpoints, and there's feedback loops, and there's wait time, and there's downtime. And so I have seen and I have experienced inefficiencies in this process, but they're not mine to control. And so I don't know how I would just get more done in 4 days as opposed to, more done in fewer hours as opposed to,
yeah,
having the same amount of time. Any thoughts,
right.
there? Or do you think
Exactly. I
there's like
think
a way to
that's
do it?
a little bit of a red herring because it's like if you're giving people the time back to
Mm-hmm.
say, we're giving you time back, that's a benefit, it's a perk of working here. We're not expecting you to do 5 days of work in 4 days. I think to make the argument that
Mm-hmm.
you can get 5 days of work done in 4 days is,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's true. Maybe, yeah, sure. If you're like, oh, I'm only working 4 days, so I'm never going to relax or take a break or, you know,
Mm-hmm.
screw around or get distracted or context switch. Of course you are.
Mm-hmm.
You're still going to be the same person.
Mm-hmm.
You're just maybe you'll just have that compressed week. And so, yeah, you'll take on fewer things and you'll get those fewer things done. I mean, frankly, I feel like that's not such a bad thing because the context switching and like the adding every little
Mm-hmm.
thing, drip drop to like your plate all the time, it slows things down anyway. But I do think it may be like kind of a stretch to if you were to tell me like we're going to take a work day away from you and we're still going to expect you to deliver in the same amount of
Amount of
time,
time. Yeah.
that sounds like it would be stressful.
Yeah. And it makes me think that like a solution is that we move like our jobs, or any jobs that are thinking about doing this, to something where another like maybe set of people can come in and like pick up the work and do it, so that when we're resting, like the work still continues, but not
Like
everybody
a
is like,
shift.
yeah, like shift work. And then I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking about this. I'm pretty sure that like communist Russia tried this
Oh,
and it did not work. So
okay. Interesting.
and there are industries where, like maybe like factory floors or whatever, where like
Right.
that is doable and that is what is done. But like I think me I'm less clear about how that would work from like in UX, and whether you're doing tech UX or some other kind of
Oh,
UX.
but they do it in other countries, right? Isn't there like that 996 schedule where it's like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week in other countries? That's the schedule. So it's much worse than it is in the US.
Mm,
Like Have you heard of
That's
this?
one person.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is worse.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like when I heard about that, I was like, what? Are you serious? Because that explains why people like in other countries they nap after lunch. And I'm like, I
Mm-hmm.
can't imagine a like sitting at my desk and taking a nap. But if you're
Right.
working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, you're gonna have to sleep at work at some point.
Yeah. I
It's
also don't
crazy.
see this like I see this working for businesses that are maybe like geographically within the same state or the same time zone or something along those lines, but like not an international company. I just don't I don't really know it because like because of what you said, like if one part of the business was getting this as their way of life, then it would seem to make things not really, I don't know. Actually, now that I'm saying this is kind of how we operate already because other countries do get like more different types of benefits and some get way better benefits than the US or more days off,
Mm-hmm.
more
Yeah.
like more holidays like state or national holidays and things like that. So maybe we already do kind of work like this and it would be fine, but my initial response was like, oh, this couldn't happen at a company that's international because it would create a situation where too many people aren't working on the days and the times when their international colleagues
Mm-hmm.
are working.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know. You'd have to be pretty creative. I guess if you gave people just the extra time and you were like, here, instead of, 3 weeks off a year, you're going to actually get 8 weeks off a year and you can sprinkle it around and however you want. I
Hmm.
mean, that's in effect the same thing. If you take a work day off, that's
Yeah.
52 weeks a year, like 52 days off. That's a lot, right? So,
Oof. But I
um,
come back to the fact that like when you take a day off and everybody else is still working, it sometimes doesn't really feel like a day off because you have to come back to all the crap.
That's right. And having everybody have their schedule sort of aligned where it's like, hey, Fridays are off and that's just how it's going to be at our company. But it's never going to be like that for everybody. There's always going to be somebody somewhere
Hmm.
that's working, right? Like on the weekend or whatever. But
Unless you have
yeah.
really good leadership that maybe is not into capitalism,
Yeah.
and then they're probably not good at their jobs. Anyway, any last thoughts on this topic, and we'll do a little
I mean,
shift gears and do a slightly different topic to end with.
the only thing I can say is this is like that idea of like, oh, I have less time to get things done, so I'm gonna get them done faster, like the 4-day thing.
Hmm.
Like recently it makes me think that I've sort of trying to confront and face my own like short attention span and sort of I've like fought it for years to try to get myself to focus and do all these tricks and things like that to keep my focus.
Hmm.
And recently I thought, I'm going to see if I can make this to my advantage and try to capitalize on it, my short
Hmm.
attention span.
Yeah.
And so like like letting myself get up and walk away, letting myself get interrupted, letting myself like work in quick bursts and stuff like that as sort of like an embrace of that
Hmm.
is my work style. My work
Hmm.
style is short and fast and I
Hmm.
love new things.
Hmm.
And what it has done for me is like it helps me limit myself to avoid situations where I'm going in deep and I'm starting something that's really long and like I don't ever finish it. And I'm telling myself, I'm just going to do something right now. And then when I'm done with it, I'm done. And this is it. And so I've gotten a couple things done that way where I just force myself to stop. I let myself stop when I felt bored
Hmm.
and whatever I had produced was what I produced, and that
Hmm.
was it. And it felt good, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. It's interesting when you lean into something like that, especially if you've been told a lot that like that's
To
not
fight
good
it.
or to
Yeah.
yeah, or to fight it or that's not what other people do. I think about that for people who kind of have alternate sleep schedules, like people who are night owls, like
Oh,
they keep
yeah.
fighting and fighting to wake up in the mornings and go to meetings and it's just like maybe we should just let them lean into it and not have to,
Absolutely.
like work so
You're
hard.
not gonna fight that. That I mean, I me, I don't know about you guys. I'm a early bird. One of my daughters is an early bird, and then my husband and my daughter are night owls.
Mm-hmm.
They stay up late together, they eat snacks, they watch TV, and it's like it's very obvious to me that this is wired in,
Yeah.
that there's no change in this, that's they love it.
Right. And I don't
So
like being a morning person. Do I like being up? No. I mean, but I know that's when I'm productive. I know that's when I'm going to get stuff done without it bothering me. And like,
hmm
I have a clear head and I'm basically useless at like 6 o'clock at night. So, yeah. So like, I think it's good to lean in, play to your strengths.
hmm
So yeah. The other topic, that I have is, I've been wanting to bring this up for a while because I think it's fascinating. So I'm, going along doing my thing with regard to all this healthcare stuff that I've been managing for myself. And at some point I needed to get a second opinion on a medical diagnosis, and I needed to get it quick. Like in some cases you're on a timeline that is not very generous. And I didn't want to do the work. It's so much work to find somebody else to get all your medical records transferred over. Jessamine, have you ever been in this situation and like, just
Oh, I've
needed
given
to?
up. I mean, yes, I like
Yeah.
medical records transfer. I think I attempted it once,
Mm-hmm.
and the process was so heinous that I think I filled out the paperwork and I sent it away. I don't even know, but I think I just gave up. It was on trying to get records from my previous doctor in California to come out here.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I mean, it was hundreds of pages. I think eventually I got some of it, but I was like,
Yeah.
nobody's going to have time to read through all this
Or yeah,
crap.
or input it into their electronic medical
Yeah,
system.
like
Yeah.
this
No,
is
no, no.
basically useless. I mean, that's
Yeah.
exactly the thing that I was talking about earlier is like there's only a certain point where people have attention. And if you're handing them a 100-page PDF, they're
Mm-hmm.
going to be like, cool, thanks. Like, just put it to the side. They're not going to go through it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I did a quick Google search and on second opinions, and what came up I was not expecting. I found that at stanfordhealthcare.org, which seems legit, Stanford, right? It has their
Mm,
logo in the corner. That they have partnered with another like technology platform that does basically second opinions as a service. Like you just go to this website, you put in your information, you give them money, and they get your medical records, and then churn out a second hand opinion, or
mm.
second hand, a second opinion on the information that they see. And of course, sometimes, right, it's best to go see somebody in person, but like, if this is your situation and you want a second opinion really, really fast, and I don't know, our healthcare system is like very, very overwhelmed. That's the other thing.
Mm,
In my town, you can't get a doctor's appointment for months. So,
mhm.
so like it was such a crazy option to me to see that this would would be offered.
It's
And
very
it's
cool.
not covered by insurance, although I really think maybe, like maybe that's something like that could change in the future. But Mike, like, I wanted to ask you, what do you think a service like this is worth? Like, what would you pay for it?
Oh my gosh. I mean, if I was paying out of pocket, I would
Mm-hmm.
say like 250.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a little bit more than that. It's 700, which is where I put on the brakes. I was like, I
hmm
really, really need this, but that is kind of like a little, especially since it's not covered by insurance. And like, it's one of those new things that I'm like, even if I submitted this, like they're just gonna laugh at it and send it back. So
Mm,
so so I also hesitated at the cost, but I assume that there's not too many products like this out there. And so, they probably are, or services like this out there. So they're probably needing the price point to be at a certain place. And of course, like, if there's more supply or competitors, maybe the price would be slightly different. But yeah, basically I wanted to bring it up and share it with you and kind of get
yeah.
your thoughts in real time of like how uh uh in our prep doc you can kind of scroll down and see like their UI, and it kind of just spells out like the simple steps it would take to get a second opinion in a short amount of time. And I feel like right now I sound like I'm like really pro this service, but I didn't even use it. So I can't be pro it because I have no idea if it worked or not, or if it will work or not. But this caught my eye as being like, what a crazy world that we live in, that now this is like an online service that can be provided to you.
I mean, I think it's brilliant because anything like this, it's like, it's the access. Like they've really thought this through in my mind. They've packaged up the value and they've eliminated the access. Because if you're seeing a doctor and you want to get a second opinion, I mean, where do you even begin? And a lot of people rely on like family and friends and like,
and
oh, I know.
Totally. That's how I ended up. Like I went that direction once I was deterred by the price. I went that direction. So you're totally right.
I mean, it makes so much sense, and it makes you think, what else could I access in life for a price or provide access to as a business, right? Like that somebody that is value, it's just gated. It's gatekeep. It's behind a gate, right? So what could you?
And it feels like this was built by somebody who like actually experienced this, or a designer that, or a, group of designers and researchers that talk to people about this. Because when I read this, I was like, this is what I need. Like, this makes sense. You're eliminating all of the hassle of all of the things that I hate about this process. And I do not want to, I don't want to talk to anybody else. I don't want to make new relationships with people. I just want to get this thing done and have it in hand. And so just, I don't know if I come across many things these days in terms of products and services out there that really feel like it really fits.
Right.
So anyway,
I think it's amazing. It's brilliant. I mean, honestly, think about other things. Like I've thought about this, like, if you want career coaching or career guidance or things like that as a service, I see that from time to time. I think that's really cool because honestly, how many of us are matched with, managers and leadership that are like a soulmate? That's just not really that common, or that you can be totally open with without risking things and have somebody like be a confidant, I mean, basically that's what therapy is like you have a paid confidant who can listen to all your garbage and not laugh. But I mean, it's awesome. So I can give you, maybe we could come up with opinions as a service, maybe not second opinions, maybe.
Oh yeah. Well, that's our
non-medical
whole podcast, and it's free, guys. Well, that wraps us up for today on our topics for today. Jessamine, as always, it's a pleasure to be chatting with you and getting your thoughts on this crazy career.
Gosh, hang in there, friends. If you need advice or just sympathy for your UX career, write to us at survivingux@gmail.com.
Surviving UX is hosted and edited by Jessamine Edwards and Meg Kramer. Our theme music is, among other things, the on-hold music for Cisco Phones, Opus No. 1 by Tim Carlton and Derek Deal. Thanks to all our listeners out there, whether their work takes 4 or 5 days, or 6 or 7, 8+ days out of the week. We'll be back with more UX conundrums on the next episode.